short spot. Please go wild and crazy. Welcome him now. Matt Grantham is here. Come on, let's hear you.
Hello, Comedy Store. How are we all? Seem like a nice, friendly crowd. That's good to see. Speaking of friendly people, we've got anyone from Liverpool in? It's brilliant. I quite like the people of Liverpool. I like to think of them as the Australians that got away with it. It's good to see everyone out tonight supporting comedy. Before I came in tonight, I was watching the BBC. I saw some people in Pakistan burning effigies of Barack Obama. I was thinking, now, call me old-fashioned if you will, but when do people find the time to make, then burn effigies? Has anyone else ever come home from work at 6:30 in the evening and honestly thought to themselves, well, I've got a couple of hours to kill here. What I'd quite fancy is a little haberdashery. I might just get out the needle and thread, make myself a doll-like representation of a world political leader, then set fire to it. That would be a constructive use of my time. And I've looked into this Comedy Store. Does anyone know how long it takes to actually make an effigy? I'll tell you, fucking hours. And you notice, don't you? It's always these poor countries. They're always saying, oh, our economies are struggling, our economies are struggling. I thought, well, here's a tip. Stop making shit, then setting fire to it. Watch a lot of news. I saw the Israelis, they got in trouble with the United Nations the other day for accidentally bombing a dairy in the Gaza Strip. Now, I'm as paranoid as the next man when it comes to international terrorism, but at what point do you start suspecting cattle? Never once have I been sitting on the tube next to a cow and honestly thought to myself, I really don't like the look of this bastard. They come into this country eating our grass. All look the same, don't they? Little BNP section over here, that's brilliant. Got to be very careful with terrorism. Don't want to make light of the current terrorist situation that we are facing globally. I found myself sitting on the tube the other day next to one of these Islamic extremists. I said to him, listen, mate, what are you actually hoping to achieve here? He said, I'm going to blow myself up, disrupting the tube system and bringing the capitalistic hub of Europe to its knees. My question to him, have you considered a strategically placed quarter-inch of snow? Leaves, they also work. See, that's the problem with Al-Qaeda. Not prepared to think outside the cave, are they? Have we got any Al-Qaeda in tonight? It always pays to check before I go into this next bit. It's not just Al-Qaeda that's going mad. I was in at Tesco's the other day. I picked up a jar of peanut butter. On the side of it, it said, may contain nuts. I thought, what? Is there a chance it doesn't? There's no need for that sort of labelling, is there? If you spend your whole life seeking to avoid traces of a particular substance, you're hardly going to seek it out in its concentrated form, then spread it on your crumpets. course, it's not just Tesco's either. I was in at Ryman's and they're looking at a printer cartridge. On the side of the box, it said, "Do not eat toner." I'm sorry, exactly who is that aimed at? Has anyone in this room ever popped down to Ryman's feeling a bit peckish? Paid 90 quid for a printer cartridge, then eaten it with a croissant. Right under the do not eat warning, it also said not to be used as a flotation device. I'll be honest with you people, there's a few things I expect to hear while the ship's going down, but one of them is not quickly disassemble the printer. See, that's what I love about Britain. You put warnings saying that peanut butter may contain nuts, telling people not to eat printed toner, but then on one day a year, you'll give anyone in the country with £2 in their pocket access to fireworks. Yes, the teenagers in this country have got the highest pregnancy rate in Europe and a problem with drink, but I'm sure they can be trusted to play with explosives. Got to be very careful with relationships. It doesn't matter whether you're a teenager or as you get older. We had some couples in. Where were some couples down here? Were you two a couple? Let me ask you this question, madam, because I read this in one of your women's magazines. Reliable source. What do you think the two biggest things are that men do in relationships that annoy women? Everything. Sorry about that, fella. I asked that question the other night. I said, what is it that men do in relationships that annoy women? Somebody from the back shouted, breathing. I'll tell you what they were. The two things that men do in relationships that annoy women. The first one was a lack of honesty. The second one, the fact that we piss on the toilet seat and floor. I did not think it was that big a deal. What they really don't like is if you're the only male living in the house, you piss on the floor, then deny it. See, what you women don't realise is we can actually take these little facts you give us and actually use them to deduce things about your personalities. Like I met a girl the other day and she told me that she had a carpeted toilet. Which tells me one of two things. She's either a lesbian or an optimist. I have to say I've always been unlucky in love myself. I've always been unlucky. Problem is, you British women, you don't know what you want. Girl told me the other day she wanted to take charge in the bedroom. So I shot her with a taser gun. Not so keen on the idea as it turns out. Still, picked it up for a £5 on eBay. What a bargain. And I don't want to particularly have a go at women generally. I consider myself to be quite a feminist person. But what I don't like is when these feminists get carried away. Like I was at this conference in Africa about empowering women with my girlfriend. And one of the speakers there said that there was no place in the modern world where it was any more beneficial these days to be a man than a woman. I can tell you there is. I recently got robbed in Nairobi by 2 unarmed men. Not once throughout that process did I think to myself, gee, I'm really glad I've got my missus here. My mate Barry, the cage fighter, will be particularly unhelpful in a situation like this. There's only one instance I've been able to come up with where I think it would be actually beneficial to have my girlfriend with me, and that is if we were confronted by a lion. Not because she's particularly good with a spear, it's just that I'm a few yards faster. We found out a lot of interesting facts about Africa while we were over there, like the fact, for example, that lions can smell blood from up to 1 kilometre away, even if there's a woman in the village who's having PMS. I was thinking, brilliant, that's all you need at that point, isn't it? An angry lion as well. And on that note, I'll finish up. I've been Matt Grantham. Thanks for supporting live comedy. See you again next time.